It's never too late to get your life. Welcome to Get Your Life podcast. This is your host, Lizzie G. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I have a sobering topic to bring to our attention. I think all of them have been sobering lately because I've just been really thinking about just mortality and how we just, as human beings, really take for granted the time that we have here. As you watch the news and as you hear the different events that are happening all over the world, specifically in the Middle East at this time, because that's what's being highlighted. Not to mention, there are other things happening in the world, like Congo, for instance. There are things happening there. But in the Middle East, you're seeing these images of people dying. Um, you're seeing war. You're seeing, children, women, men just being slaughtered. And a lot of times it's easy for us to look at that and you feel sympathy, you feel empathy, you feel compassion, which is good as you should. But then I think in addition to that, you should come to terms with your own mortality. Um, None of us picked where we were born. We didn't have a say so in where we were born and where we grew up. You kind of ended up where you ended up, um, based on, who your parents are or whatever. So any of us could have been in a situation where we grew up in a war stricken country or we were in a position that is not the position that we are in today. And so as we empathize and have compassion for those people, I want to make sure that we come to terms with, hey, just like they were here today, gone tomorrow, just like they woke up thinking everything would be fine and now they're dead. Um, that can be us. I think living here in America and living in other places that are westernized, um, we don't think of our lives like that. We take for granted that we believe that when we go to sleep, we're going to wake up in the morning. We just believe that. We don't have a doubt that we have another chance to get something right that we haven't gotten right. We just believe that there is time. And this war, if it doesn't make you think of anything else, is you don't have time. That is the biggest deception that the enemy can throw at you, that you have time. Oh, you're young, you have time. Live your life, do your thing. You have time to get it right with God before it's too late. And the thing is, you never know when you're going to be taken out of here. I've said that numerous times because everything that you do should be intentional. Every word that comes out of your mouth should be intentional. How you spend your time, who you're talking to, where you are going, what you wear, like all of that should have purpose behind it. And I know a lot of people will think, man, it's not that serious, but it is though. Um, for you to not think it's that serious is also another deception. It's you're allowing yourself to be deceived. And the thing that people always say about being deceived is you don't know that you're being deceived. Like that's why it's called deception, right? That's why it is what it is. You're not going to know. And you know, it's the biggest trick of the enemy to make you think that you have time, make you think that a lot of things that you do aren't that serious, that it doesn't really matter, and God doesn't care. And He makes very clear what He cares about, and it's all in His word. But a lot of times we'll do certain things like, oh, He don't care, He don't care, and we professing Christians will take this stand that we believe that if we just go to church and just do all the good things and have our personal relationship with God, that that's all that matters, and it's not. I always think of like, okay, if I'm going to go somewhere, if this was the day that Jesus came back, will I be okay at the place that I'm at? I mean, just think about it. If you're deciding to go to, I'm giving an example, a concert, and the artist that you're going to watch um, does everything, says everything that as a child of God, you should not be repeating, you shouldn't be listening to, you should not be patronizing. They talk about there are many women, but they don't call them women, they call them bees. Talk about how much sex they're having, how much drugs they're using, how much drugs they're selling, shooting people, you know, killing, you know, all robbing people, like all of this. And everybody there is just drinking, smoking, all that kind of stuff. And you're just like I'm a Christian, and you go to that. Are you okay if Jesus came back right then and there and found you there? Are you okay with where you are? And if you are, I mean, but that's something you need to think about. Like, if you would be ashamed that you were there and he found you there, then why would you go in the first place? And I think a lot of times we don't think about that because we don't think about it mattering. But it all does. It all does. And how we know it matters is in his word. He says that it matters. Um, you know, as Christians, we should hate what God hates and love what he loves. But a lot of times, people can't tell us apart. They think we're just like everybody else because we don't have a stance, or we're fine with some of these things that God is not fine with. And we're okay with that. But here in Revelation 21:7, it says here, those who are victorious will inherit all of this, and I will be their God, and they will be my children. But the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all the liars, they will be consigned to the fiery lake of burning sulfur. This is the second death. So, like, he lists clearly the things that he's not a fan of, the people who will not inherit his kingdom. And I'll list a bunch of different scriptures at the bottom of the video in the description, because a lot of times we need to remind ourselves when we're thinking certain things are okay, we need to remind ourselves that what does the Word of God say? Like, if this is our standard as Christians, what does it say? And if what you're believing, what you're doing is going contrary to that, then it's a problem. And if you're offended by the word of God, then you're probably not a Christian. And it's okay. You need to know that now before it's too late, right? Um, then, there's a lot of times where the Bible talks about false teachers, it talks about the narrow path. And he wouldn't keep telling you if there's false teachers, there are wolves in sheep's clothing trying to deceive you, that the path to him is narrow, but the road to destruction is broad. Like, he would not keep saying those things if there wasn't a chance that you could be deceived, and there wasn't a chance that you could be following the wrong teachings or living your life accordingly, where you think that you're a Christian, but you may not be. And then when it's the day of judgment, you're like, Lord, Lord. And he's like, depart from me, I never knew you. It's like, why would he say that if that was not a possibility? It's because so many people think that they're living for God and they're not, just because they go to church on Sunday or just because they have leadership positions. And so, if anything that this war is showing you, or just when you're cutting on the news and you're seeing all these celebrities dying out of nowhere, or just random regular people, teenagers, young adults just dying, it should let you understand that you don't have all the time in the world to get it right, and to be intentional with your time, because you can be taken out of here at any time, any minute, and you don't want to have any regrets. And the biggest regret saying, man, I wish I would have come to God before I died. So, just something to think about. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I pray that this message meets you well. I pray that you take time to pray on it, think about it, and just ask God to show you what you could do to get closer to Him and resemble Him when you go out. Like the light of, like His light shine upon you as you go out. Like when people see you, they're like, man, that person loves God. That person knows God. There's something different about that person. That you are a light wherever you go. Pray that God will help you with that, that you stand apart, from this dark, dark world. And also pray if you don't know God and you want to know Him, but you just don't know and you don't really believe in any of this, pray that He will show you who He is. Be honest. God, I don't know you, but I want to know you. All right, I was just checking the time. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Love you. Until next time. Bye. It's never